There's something strange about classic World of Warcraft. You log in and you're not just entering a game, you are entering world, a world that asks something of you. Not just your time, but your presence, your patience, your loyalty. It doesn't care if you're busy, it doesn't wait for you, it simply is. And if you want to be part of it, truly part of it, you have to choose it over and over again. This is where our Danish friend Soren Kierkegaard comes in, a 19th century philosopher often called the father of existentialism. Kierkegaard was obsessed with the idea of commitment, not the kind written in contracts, but the kind written in the soul. He believed that to become truly yourself, you had to take a leap of faith. Not a blind leap, but a conscious one. A choice to step into the unknown with no guarantee of reward. And Classic WoW has no guarantee of reward either. It doesn't let you queue for content. It doesn't give you convenience. You don't just click a button and get a dungeon. You have to commit. You have to whisper strangers, gather in front of a dungeon and get there on foot. Sometimes people will leave halfway. Sometimes people DC. Sometimes nothing drops, but sometimes something else happens. You make a friend. You get a whisper 3 days later asking if you'd like to tank again. Maybe you even end up joining a guild. And then suddenly you're not just playing a game, but you're living in a community. Kierkegaard would have called this the transition from the aesthetic to the ethical life. In the aesthetic stage, life is about pleasure, detachment, the avoidance of suffering, floating from one distraction to the next. But the ethical life, that's very different. That's where you choose responsibility, where you begin to say, I will show up. I will suffer the burden of consistency, of reliability, of being seen, and not for loot, not for glory, but because that's who you want to be, because that's how you become real. Classic WoW forces this choice on you in a way few modern games do. When you join a guild, it isn't just for buffs or loot, it's a leap of faith. You don't know if the people in your guild are good. You don't know if they're going to stay. You don't even know if they'll show up to Molten Core every Friday at 7 p.m. server time, but you show up anyway. And that is the leap. Kierkegaard writes, to dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. And isn't that what commitment in WoW feels like sometimes? You could be doing something much easier. You could log off. You could solo it. You could just play with your small insular group of friends, but instead you wait. You try again. You dare. You dare to trust people in a game where they might ninja loot your band of Akuria. You dare to be part of a guild that might fall apart. And that kind of faith, that's rare, both in WoW and in our real world. We often think of faith as religious belief, but for Kierkegaard, it's deeper than dogma. It is the courage to live without certainty, to step forward anyway. He called it the teleological suspension of the ethical. Fancy words that essentially mean sometimes you commit to something that doesn't make sense logically, but makes complete sense spiritually. Like raiding with 39 other people you barely know and will never meet because it feels right, because it means something, because you want to. We live in a world that constantly asks us to keep our options open, to stay flexible, to never settle. But Classic WoW punishes this kind of indecision. It rewards the ones who lock in, the ones who pick a guild and stay, the ones who suffer through wipes not because they love wiping, but because they love what's on the other side of it. Belonging, community, meaning. Kierkegaard believed that freedom wasn't found in having endless options, it was found in choosing deeply and fully. Choosing something so thoroughly, so profoundly that it defines you. Choosing a life that you are wholly content with. but only when you choose to leap.